I got a little rabbit in this hole, and I'm gonna catch the little rabbit and eat him up.
Hey everyone. Hey, who likes dice? I do. I've been collecting dice since the 1970s when I used to play Dungeons and Dragons. See all the modules here. And used to the old days back in the 70s when we had all these really cool modules and stuff like that to play Dungeons and Dragons with. I've been collecting dice since then. I've always liked dice. I've got a various amount here, different sizes, different, you know, everything from 12-siders, 20-siders, 100-siders, 4-siders, look, even a round 6-sider. I even have one that's a 6-sider inside of a 6-sider. You get my bone dice. Basically what I'm going to show you today is I built this model of a dice tower. And I found this on a YouTube place called The Dice Tower, and they do reviews of games, and it's a really great website. If you get a chance to check it out, I'll put the listing up here on this. Go there. The Dice Tower is really neat. And one of the things, if you donate money to their YouTube thing, wherever they got going, you can get a dice tower. Well, theirs is made out of plexiglass and little sheets of wood. I looked around there. They sell for like $20. Anywhere else you can get them, like here at the Green Dragon in South Carolina, he sells them for about $20, and they're really cool. But I wanted to make one, so I found a set of plans for this to make it out of foam board online. I'll see if we can put the address up here or something like that. And you can print it out and make it out of foam board. You just tack this on with tape onto the foam board and then cut it out exactly, and it works out pretty good. It's made of baffles in here. Let me see if it gets hard to see because it's black. There's a baffle right here. Hold on, there we go. And as you can see, it just goes on this baffle down to the next baffle and then down on here on this baffle. And basically you just toss your dice in the top and it randomly rolls them for you. What's nice, what's nice about this is that if you're playing a game, even if you're playing a Yahtzee or something, you know how you roll the dice and it goes all over the board, ruins the game because you've moved pieces or you've gotten in someone's way, or rolls off the table. This prevents that from happening. So what you do is you hand this to the next person, wherever dice they're using, or everybody can have their own little dice tower, and that way your dice don't get all over the table, you don't make a mess, doesn't fall off, you get exact rolls, it randomly rolls everything. It's great. Alright, so basically, I've made this. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to make it. I'm going to be making a wooden one. Luckily, I have a very good friend, Roy, who has a compound miter saw, a nice DeWalt one, and he cut all the parts out for me. And I took a set of plans I got off the internet. Not the same guy did this, another guy, and he did it kind of differently. He didn't cut things right, right lengths and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to list right now. I'm going to list all of the parts, list them on here, that you'll need to make this. You can please vary your own. It's great. Basically what I used is I bought two long sheets of 1/4-inch poplar wood. They're 4 foot long by 1/4 inch thick and 4 inches wide, which is actually 3.5 inches wide. So remember that when you buy wood, the width is always different. You buy 1 by 12, it's actually 11.5. It's not really 12. And it's not really 1, it's 3/4 of an inch. So on this one though, this wood is actually 3.5 by 1/4 thick, and about 4 foot long. Alright, so while I'm rolling the dice, I'll show you the list. Alright, that should be enough to show you the list. And here we go. What I'm going to show you is all the pieces. And I'm going to be going through this, so I'll be stopping and starting. Basically what I've done is, for the sides, for this side right here, will be 8-inch long by the standard 3.5 by 1/4 inch wide. They will sit like this. I'll have one here, and one here, okay? So they'll sit like that, alright? So that'll sit like that. Then I'll have the baffles. This will sit in here like this. So that'll be the first one. I can't hold them in here, they won't stay in place, but I'll show you that. That'll be the first one. Then I'll have this one on the front, like this, and that'll have a baffle right here on this side. So it'll have one like this. Now, I have made supports, if you can see it, hold on, let me show you. That'll sit like this. You know, I cut these at a 30 Roy cut them at a 30-degree angle so that they'll sit like that. And basically it'll be sit like that. I've got these little, we created these little backups here to help support it. So when I glue them in, then when the dice come down, hit them in time, it won't wear them out. I'm not going to use any nails on this. I'm just using Titebond 2 wood glue. Now what I've done ahead of time, I tried to take all the inside pieces here and I pre-stained them with rosewood. I used a rosewood done by Minwax, but it's water-based stain. First thing I did was put a coat of pre-stain on there, which is that clear stuff you put on. It's pre-stain on. I mean, you always pre-stain softwood like poplar or pine. That way when you put the stain on, it's a nice even stain. If you don't, your stain looks like crap. So put a pre-stain on, then I put 2 coats of rosewood color on this, and then Roy, when I was over at his house, he looked at it and said, well, sand them just a little bit. So he sanded them with some 4/0 steel wool. So now they're really smooth. And they didn't really lose any color either. So they'll be for the inside pieces. So when I come back, I'm going to start assembling these sections here. Eventually, everything we put together, I'm just going to use glue. These little side rails here, actually I'll do it here on this side so you can see it. This will fit like this. These will fit up front like that. So everything's going to go together, as you can see. Everything will fit and work out really well. And I even have the wooden baffle that'll sit down in here like this. And I have a support. So as I go along, I will show you how this works, and I'll be putting it together. Hey everyone! All right, I've as you can see, I've been busy. Let this sit overnight to dry using the Titebond 2 glue. Got everything squared up, and basically I'm gonna start taking these clamps off now. So let's take them off. There's that one. There's this. Handy having these little clamps. These little cheap ones here, I got at Harbor Freight for like, I think they're on sale for a couple bucks or something like that. Really handy to have for hobby work. And then we got the long one here. Okay. And the reason I clamped it was I had this back piece here was a little warped. I mean, not much, but you can see the gap down here, and then this one too, just a little bit on the bottom. So I clamped it to make it sit better, and look up even and like that. I used a little bit of tape, which I can pull off now, to help line me up when I was putting it together. So that comes in handy. Good thing using blue tape, doesn't really leave any residue. Oh, come on. And I was very careful with applying the glue to the edges so I didn't smear it around. On the inside I had it smeared around here because it won't be seen. So things I'm going to do next is this reason I put this is one of the pieces. It's 1/2 by 3.5 by 1/4. That'll be for this ramp here. So I've got that set. I will not be coating this with stain because I'm going to use this. I bought this for $1 over at Michael's Art Supplies, and it's really cool because it looks like a stone effect. I really like that. It will look really neat. So that'll be on top of this right here, and it'll also be on top of these pieces right here. So as you can see, it'll look really cool. So I have a plan on how to do that in order. Next thing I have to do, and I'll come back, is I'm going to start setting up the angles on these and putting in these pieces too. These you got to cut yourself, figure it out. Roy and I went back and forth for the angle. We cut these at a 30-degree angle, so it should be a 60 on this. It's not. It's weird. I don't know what we goofed up on, but these little triangle pieces, if you want to use these, you don't have to. You can glue this right in like this, and glue this edge here. I'm sorry, glue this edge here, and then glue it to the back, and you'd be fine. But I'm just adding these as a little extra support. So I've got to put all this stuff in. after I get this one in, and then I get this one figured out for the other side for this one. So when I put that in like that, I'll figure out the how depth I want it. After I got these two done, then I will put a coat of wipe-on poly gloss on all this stuff. Then, and I'll mask the edges so that when I put the glue down, it won't be on top of the poly. It'll be actually going into the wood itself. I'll do all that stuff, but I'll come back with that. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up these angles, get these in place where I want them. When they dry, which will be another day or so, then I could go ahead and glue them in place and glue this piece on and put it all together this way. So, in the meantime, what I'm going to do also, sorry I'm trying to rush this, I'm going to cut out the pieces for these, for the shelves. I'll put them at the last minute. That's why I want to do the poly and all that kind of stuff. Then I'll put those in, then I'll glue it together. So that way the poly's done, it's nice and shiny and glossy on the inside. I don't have to worry about getting on any of this. So if I were to put these on later, it'd be a pain in the butt. And this will also help quiet down the dice roll when you roll the dice. Alright, well, I'll come back and show you what I've done in the next installment. Real quick, I've cut the pieces out for the felt. Just want to show you basically what it'll kind of look like. So when you roll the dice, it'll hit this. Same thing up here with this. And I said I'm not going to glue these in yet. I got to put them in place and coat them with wipe-on clear poly. But that'll be on the inside, and I'll do that. Then I'll glue these in before I put the side on here. But I just wanted to show you what they look like. Looks kind of cool. I kind of like them, you know. They'll really look neat when they roll the dice like that. It'd be kind of really cool. I want to really enjoy building this. All right, that was a real quick little thing. Well, as you can see, I have been busy. This is not set all the way, pretty much. I mean, it hasn't been 24 hours to dry, but you know, with wood glue like Titebond, they tell you give it 24 hours for full strength, but 3 hours or so, 30 minutes. Is good enough. So it's been sitting for a couple hours. As you can see up here, let me see if we can see. Oh, there we go. As you can see up here, I've got the pieces in. I've also smeared glue here, along here, and down here, and it's all dried. So that's well enough for me. That's good. Good. This will be where my piece fits on here. You can see that I fit on this. So I've got this set at what length I want here. So as you can see, what it will look like will be like that. And then the bottom ramp, like I said, this will be here. So as you can see, that'll be enough room for the dice to come tumbling down and work pretty good. I think it'll work out really neat. I could have brought this up a little farther, but I thought, well, it'll hit this, really bounce, probably hit off the back, come down here, and get loose, and that'll be good roll effect on that. So that'd be really excellent. So that's how it'll be. Then I'll put this piece like this on here. That'll be that. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, also too, let me show you. This is what I use, I didn't show it to you. It's the Minwax Wood Sheen Rosewood. And that's what I used for the coloring of this, which I really like the color. I like any kind of wood with a reddish hue to it. I always have. Now, what I want to do next, my next step, now is I'm going to put I'm going to put a coat on this and a coat on here and here. I'm going to put a coat all the way down here, or a couple coats, I'm sorry. Here, I'll probably just put it on here to protect it. I don't really need to shine or anything like that. I'll put some up here. I want to put, what I'm talking about putting on will be wipe-on poly. So, you just take a nice t-shirt. Usually I use a white t-shirt rags. And just take this and just open it up, put it on your rag, wipe it on, do a few coats. The more coats you do, I usually do like one coat, then do another coat, and then you lightly sand it with like steel wool or a sanding pad or something. In this case, I'll probably use some steel wool. Then put a third coat on if you want to. I don't know how many coats I'll put on. I'll put it on until I feel it's, what I like for the sheen and what I like for the thickness. On the inside, I'm not too worried about it. How beautiful it looks. I mainly to be to protect everything. So that'll be my next step, is to put this stuff on. When I get that done and I get these built, but what I'm going to end up doing, to show you guys an example, I'll put this like this. I'll glue here, glue along here. I'll put this down like this. I'll put some glue on here, glue on here, glue a little on here, glue a little down here, and then I'll put this on like that, and then I'll clamp it and it'll be set. Also too, I will be careful, because where I want to put the glue along here will be along here, so I will tape, when I do the poly work, I will tape with blue tape along this edge, so that when I put glue on there, it won't be attaching to the poly, it'll be attaching to the wood. It'll soak in and work the way I want it to. After that gets all done, then I will, when it's all boxes created, and I have the sides on down here, and this on like this, if you can see it or not, when I have it like that, then I will do basically the same thing I did for the inside. I will use the pre-stain, and then I will stain it, and then I will poly it with the wipe on poly. So it's that easy, and it's going together really well. It's really well made. With the Titebond 2 glue, I shouldn't have anything to work with. I haven't had to use any nails. I've been doing everything on this glass Pyrex plate here, because this will be perfectly level, perfectly straight. My workbench here, this whole thing here, is not. It's got little warps in it, so like that. So I'm doing everything on this so that I get everything at 90-degree angles. I even been using my oh, where is it? I know I have it. I have a oh, here it is. That's right from my face. I have this at a 90-degree angle. Sit down like that. I can put my boards up against it. Boom, I know I'm at 90 degrees. I've been using that on the glass. So really, this has been going really great. I'm really happy with it. So when I come back, I'll show you how what it looks like with the poly on there. One other thing before I come back with the poly stuff, you need to remember, is when you are putting the baffles on here, you must make sure not only that you have a 90-degree angle, okay, that you also must be exact when you go from here to here on both sides, so that this thing is level this way. If you do not, and that board's crooked, it's not going to work for gluing it in place. So each one of these is exactly the same distance. The same thing back here on this. I am the exact same distance here and here. So when you glue that on, make sure you do that. Just a quick hint and a reminder. Sorry I didn't say that in the last thing. I was trying to hurry up. Now I'm wasting more time. Alright, I'll be back.